have here all the products that you would need as a beginner to create a full face of makeup, and everything in here is drugstore. First, we're gonna start off with primer. So in your kit, it's so important to have a primer because a primer is really what's going to help protect your skin from absorbing the makeup product. So if you're gonna use foundation, if you're gonna use any powder, you need a good primer. So there's so many different types of primers for different skin types, and I like to stick to moisturizing oil-free primers because I feel like they really help to keep your skin hydrated. So one primer that I would recommend for all skin types is the Hard Candy Hydrating Primer. This is a really good primer because it helps to grip your makeup, and it also has hyaluronic acid, which will help keep your skin super hydrated. It also helps diminish the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, but the gripping aspect of it is going to get your makeup to stick to your skin without moving around. So this is a really good primer, and I feel like this is great for all skin types. Now, when applying this primer, you don't want to rub it in your skin. You just want to apply it and just kind of let it sit on your skin because it does have that gripping texture. You don't want to keep moving it around. So you want it to remain sticky on your skin. But if you're somebody who doesn't like that gripping texture and you're looking for a primer that's only hydrating, I would say try the NYX Bear With Me Hydrating Jelly Primer. So this literally just hydrates your skin. It seals a lot of moisture on your skin so that when you apply your makeup products, your skin is already hydrated. It doesn't have the gripping aspect, so it doesn't necessarily help to grip your makeup so that it lasts longer, but it does help your skin stay hydrated. So this would be a primer I would recommend for any type of skin, whether you have oily skin, combination skin, or dry skin. It's very hydrating. So after applying your primer, you want to find a really good setting spray. You want to find a setting spray that gets your makeup to last on longer, and I would recommend this Hard Candy Long Wear Setting Spray. It's very affordable, but it's a really good setting spray to apply before and after your makeup. So I like to apply it before my makeup to hydrate my skin, and then after my makeup to help meld the makeup onto my skin so it looks natural and skin-like. So next is foundation. So for foundation, you want to find one that works for your skin type and that caters to your skin type and your skin's needs. So if you have oily skin or combination skin, I would say use foundations that are oil-free because they last longer on the skin. And one that I would recommend is this Revlon ColorStay foundation. This is a really good foundation for oily skin, but if you're somebody who's looking for more coverage and a longer wear out of your foundation, then I would recommend a long wearing foundation such as the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. This is pretty much a full coverage foundation. It's great for all skin types because I would say I'm dry skin and I use this foundation and it's amazing on my skin. This is more so of a foundation with a lot of coverage. If you're looking to cover a little less on your skin, I would say the Revlon one is good. But if you have dry skin, you definitely want a foundation that gives your skin radiance and some form of glow. I would recommend the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hydrating Foundation. This foundation moisturizes your skin, so that's why I feel like it's great if you have dry skin. So I'm gonna go in with the Pretty Fresh foundation because I have dry skin. So one thing that foundation does is it evens out your skin tone. So you want to apply it all over your skin, but I like to focus it only on the perimeter of my face, not at the center of my face, because this part of my face tends to be a little bit oily. So you want to blend it out with either a sponge or a brush depending on your skin type. So I would say if you have dry skin, a damp beauty sponge that is dampened with water works best. This is the e.l.f. complexion sponge, which is like $6. It's very affordable. I would recommend this if you have dry skin, but if you have oily skin, I feel like a brush would work better because your skin has oils, so it's easier to use the brush on the surface of your skin. I'm gonna go in with this e.l.f. sponge because I have dry skin and a brush just almost never works for my skin. So I like to focus this first on the perimeter of my face, so around my face, and then whatever's left on the sponge, I just go ahead and bring it around my nose because this area of my face does not have so much discoloration. It doesn't have any acne. I don't feel like I need to cover up too much. Alright, so next we're gonna go in with concealer. So concealer is supposed to help brighten up your skin, and it also helps to add dimension onto your skin. So you apply concealer where light reflects on your skin to help brighten it up. So you want to use a concealer that caters to your skin type as well because it is a complexion product. So if you're looking for something that covers up a lot under your eyes because you have discoloration, I would recommend the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Concealer. This is a full coverage concealer, so it helps to cover up a lot, including discoloration. But if you're looking to cover discoloration, make sure the concealer is closer towards the color of your skin. But if you're somebody who's not necessarily looking to cover up any discoloration, you just want a concealer to help brighten up your under eyes, and you're not looking for one with a lot of coverage, I would recommend the NYX Bare With Me concealer. This is a very natural finish concealer. It helps to cover up enough, but it's a very lightweight liquid concealer, perfect if you have really dry under eyes. But if you're somebody who has dry under eyes, or you're looking just for a hydrating concealer with enough coverage, I would recommend the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. I feel like this one is perfect for people with dry skin or dry under eyes that are looking for enough coverage. The L'Oreal Infallible Concealer is not as hydrating as this e.l.f. one, so this one is better for you if you have dry under eyes. So for concealer, I like to focus it on the areas of my skin that need brightness, which is the inner corner of my eye, so somewhere around here, and also like right here. Those are the areas on my eyes that tend to have a lot of darkness. And then I also like to put it on my forehead right here because, as you can see, light reflects on my forehead. I also put it down the bridge of my nose as well to help highlight it, and then on my chin area as well. And to blend out this concealer, I like to use the tip side of the beauty sponge. This is also an e.l.f. complexion sponge. You want to make sure your sponge is damp, so it's not wet, there's no water running through the sponge. It's actually just damp, it has a little bit of water. To blend it out, I like to just tap on the concealer, and you don't want to consume too much of that concealer because you want the concealer to have enough coverage. So I like to just lightly tap on it to blend it out, focusing all over my under eye. And as you can see, that concealer has absolutely covered up everything, and you can see that it's also highlighted the under eye area. So next, after applying concealer, you want to add shadows to your skin to give your skin dimension. So shadows are basically the contour that you're going to apply on your skin. So you want to use a foundation stick. You can pretty much use anything, but with contours, you want to make sure that they're cool toned because that gives you more of the look of shadows versus warm tones, which gives you more of like a sun-kissed look, and they resemble more of a bronzer. So for contours, I like using foundation sticks, and for foundation sticks, I like this Black Opal True Color foundation stick. This is in the shade Cafe Au Bay, which is about 4 shades darker than my skin tone, so this is dark enough to show up on my skin. Or you can use this Thread Face It complexion stick. This one is also a great one. They have so many different shades, so even if you're like of a deeper skin tone, they have a shade that is really rich and pigmented. This is the Real Techniques 200 brush, which is perfect for contour because it's angled to the point where it really helps to create a really sharp contour on your cheekbones. It's also angled perfectly for your jawline and your forehead as well. So to apply the contour, I like to take the brush directly onto the product instead of applying it directly on the skin. I feel like this gives more of a softer contour. So I like to take it on there and just slowly in circular motion right where you have that shadow. Just go ahead and blend it out, and you want to blend it out in circular motion so that it's not too sharp. And you want to do the same thing for this side. Then I also like to place the contour on my hairline to add a little bit of structure, and then on my jawline as well because I do have a little bit of shadows that show there. So if your contour is too harsh, you want to take a damp beauty sponge, specifically the one that you used either for the foundation or the concealer, and you just want to go ahead and absorb any excess product of the contour. And I like to do this in circular motion as well to help diffuse it. So now it's time to set the skin. So you want to find a good setting powder, and there's so many different types of powders out there to set your makeup. You want to find a setting powder to set your concealer, then you want to find a pressed powder to set your foundation. For certain skin types, you also need a finishing powder. So first we're going to set the concealer, and to set the concealer, you want to find a good loose setting powder such as this Wet n Wild Photo Focus setting powder in the shade Banana. This is very natural in the skin. It's more of like a translucent powder, so it helps to set the concealer without either forming a flashback, and on top of that, it's very natural, so it gives a concealer its natural color. It doesn't take away from the color of the concealer. So the shade that I use is Banana, which is lighter than my skin tone, and it's also lighter than the concealer shade, but because it's translucent, you won't see that color. So to apply it, I like to take the same sponge that I used to blend out the concealer. Take a little bit of it on the tip of the sponge. You want to place the powder at the back of your hand. Then you want to go in and set the concealer. So I like to just press it under my eye. Pressing the powder at the back of your hand helps get rid of the excess so that it doesn't clump up when you set the concealer. It gives it a really nice smooth blend. So I just use this powder and I place it all over the areas that I placed concealer. And concealer is something that tends to move around a lot on the skin, so you want to make sure that you're setting it really well. So the next powder you want to use is a pressed powder, and a pressed powder is usually used to set the foundation. Typically I have dry skin at the perimeter of my face where I applied foundation, so I usually don't need to use pressed powder to set the foundation. Because I use a radiant foundation, it's better to set it just so that the foundation doesn't build any oils. And to do this, I like to use the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop pressed powder. This is a very light coverage, very veil and natural powder, so it doesn't add a lot of coverage to your skin unless you apply a lot, which you want to minimize the amounts that you're applying. So these come in so many different shades. You can use this shade, which is Mocha, if you're of my skin tone, but if you're a little lighter, you can use the shade Tan, which is a little bit lighter, and they also have another shade which is a little bit darker than the shade Mocha. So I'm going to use the shade Mocha because this one is closer towards the color of my skin. And to do this, you want to use a rounded kabuki brush such as this one. This is the Morphe M439 brush. So I like to just lightly tap on the pressed powder, not putting too much pressure to pick up a lot. Then you want to dust off the excess, and you just want to press this on all the areas where you have your foundation, so which is around this area. And I like to avoid this powder under my eyes because I've already used powder there. So after applying this much powder, I like to go in with the setting mist, and this will really help the powder meld to your skin. So it's gonna make it look skin-like versus it looking like really powdery on your skin. And I like to just go in with the sponge and press that on my skin. You want to lightly tap it. You don't want to move the product. And if you've prepped your skin well, as in like using a primer and using a setting spray, your makeup should not move during this process. Alright, so now we're gonna do the eyes. I'm gonna start off with eyebrows, and for eyebrows I like starting with this NYX Thick It Stick It Brow Mascara. So this helps your eyebrow hairs all go in one direction. I feel like this is a great product to start with before filling in your eyebrows. So after using this product, I like to use a brow pen. I feel like fluffy eyebrows are what's it right now, so I've been loving using an eyebrow pen because it's really easy to fill in your eyebrow hairs, especially after using that brow mascara. So I'm going in with the Milani Weekend Brow. This one is good for beginners because it's very natural. It's not too pigmented. The shade that I use is Espresso. You want to get one that is the same color as your natural eyebrow hairs. So what I like to do with this eyebrow pen is I like to stroke out my natural eyebrow hairs and just fill them in. And this is going to create the illusion that you have thicker eyebrows. And then I like to go and on the outer part of my eyebrows and outline the actual eyebrows. Alright, so after eyebrows, you want to find a good eye primer. So an eye primer is what gets the pigmentation of the eyeshadows to show on your skin. It also allows the eyeshadow to blend flawlessly without settling in your creases. So you want to make sure that you have a good eye primer in your collection if you're going to put on eyeshadow. And the one that I would recommend is this e.l.f. eye primer. It's an affordable option, but it works so well on the eyelids. It helps get rid of the oils on your eyes, and it also helps to smoothen out the creases. So for eyeshadow, I'm gonna use the Milani Gilded Mini. This is a really good eyeshadow palette to have in your makeup kit because it comes with matte shades and shimmer shades, and these colors are very nice and neutral to help you practice applying eyeshadow, especially if you're a beginner. So the first shade I'm gonna pick up is this deep burgundy shade right here, and with that shade I'm gonna focus this on the outer part. As you guys can see, this is really pigmented, and considering that I've applied eye primer, this is going to help the pigment show up even more on the skin. So I'm placing this right on my crease, and I'm using this Morphe M506 brush. All the products I'll be using today will be linked in the description box below, including the brushes. So this is a very small brush that allows me to place the product in my crease and just taking whatever's left and bringing it towards the inner corners of my eyes. I love that the palette is very small, so it's very easy for you to store in your makeup bag or your makeup kit. So this is a palette that I would highly recommend. Milani palettes are usually very pigmented and they're usually super blendable on the eyelids. Next shadow I'm gonna pick up is this shimmer shadow right here. And using that shade, I'm gonna place this right on my eyelids, and we're going for a 2-shade eyeshadow look today, just because I feel like it's easier to apply. So I'm gonna go back in with that dark burgundy shade, and I'm just gonna mend these two eyeshadows together. Then I'm gonna take the M507 brush by Morphe, and I'm gonna smudge this dark shade at the bottom of my eyes as well. So I'm stopping halfway because I don't want this to be like a full smoky eye. So next is mascara. I like to apply mascara before applying eyelashes. Lashes are totally optional. I don't feel like as a beginner you have to wear lashes, but you do need a good mascara to help lengthen your lashes. And one that I would recommend in your makeup kit is this L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara. This is a really good lengthening mascara. It helps to elongate your eyelash hairs, and it's also a mascara that adds volume to your lashes, which is exactly what you want. So next is blush, and a blush that I would recommend is this Beauty Bakery Snackaroons blush because it's really pigmented, and the shade that I'm using is Kiss My Cheeks, which is like a hot pink shade. I feel like it shows up so nice on the skin tone, and it's a perfect blush for every day, but it is highly pigmented, so you want to only apply a very small amount. So with blush, I like to focus it on my cheekbones, like the highest points of my cheekbones, and just bring it upwards. And you definitely want to build up this pigment, so you want to apply a little bit at a time, because if you apply too much you can't really take away from the product. And a good lip liner is this NYX Professional Makeup lip liner in the shade Espresso. This is a go-to for me. It's long lasting on the lips, so when you apply it I feel like you don't need to reapply it. And the shade Espresso is perfect for deeper skin tones because it shows up perfectly with any type of lip color. Then for lip gloss, I'm gonna go in with the NYX Butter Gloss. These are super inexpensive and they come in so many different shades and they're so gorgeous. But if you're somebody who struggles with getting your makeup to last on your skin longer, then definitely watch this video right here, because I break down exactly how to get your makeup to last on your skin longer.
KLJ, welcome to a channel where it's poppin'.